Try that again. Hey, everybody, how's it going? Happy Friday to all you guys out there. Thanks for taking probably what's going to be the next hour of your time or however long you want to stay to sit down and talk some Halloween with us. That's some good shit right there, guys. Right off the top, I just want to let you know that, well, this is probably going to go an hour long. You don't need to worry. You're not tuning in to hear 1 minute of Halloween information. Unlike that other place that did that thing yesterday and advertised Michael Myers at the center of their thumbnail, advertising it to be a Halloween stream, and we got 45 seconds of content. That shit isn't going to happen here. First off, how's everybody doing? This is Fandom Empire. I'm your host, Sean. Thank you for joining us for this Friday live stream, which we still don't have a name for. So a lot of you guys took some time out of your day to give us some name suggestions for our Friday live streams. And there were a lot of great suggestions out there, guys. And probably our favorite two we really liked, it turns out someone else already has. So if you guys want to keep those suggestions rolling in for what we should call our Friday live streams, then that'd be great. Let's do that. Let's get some more suggestions for the Friday live stream. Keeping in mind, well, we will cover a whole lot of Halloween content on these Friday live streams. We are going to dive into some other horror franchises, guys. It's just the way it is. And we're also going to dive into some sci-fi and fantasy stuff. But right now, with Halloween Kills less than 4 months away, we're focusing on Halloween. Some house cleaning to take care of right off the bat, guys. First up, click that subscribe button if you appreciate what we're doing here. I was looking at the YouTube analytics the other day, and about 23% of our viewers are subscribers, and the other 77% of them are not. So maybe you're just here to get your Halloween Kills fix and run, and that's cool because, you know, I have YouTube channels that I go to for information, but I'm not necessarily the biggest supporter of them, and that's fine. Just don't tell them how to run their content. So yeah, smash that subscribe button and drop a like if you appreciate what we're doing. I'll tell you what, if you don't like what we're doing, drop a dislike. That's cool too. You won't find a more honest group of people than us here at Fandom Empire. We have a couple of big announcements pertaining to Fandom Empire that are going to drop a little later today, guys. And we can't wait to get to them. I really think that whether you're a Halloween fan, Star Wars fan, Supernatural fan, or just a fan of Fandom Empire and the community that we are growing here, that you will appreciate the announcements that are going to drop during this stream. I can tell you, upwards of 14 of us have worked real hard on preparing this for you guys. So, also, guys, we are on social media. Yes, we are on social media. Take a second, follow us on social media, guys. Twitter, at FandomEmpireNow, and at SWRenegades. You can also check us out on Instagram, FandomEmpireNow, not just Fandom Empire. So it's FandomEmpireNow, Star Wars Renegades, and the Camp Haddonfield Podcast, which, by the way, oh, that is the wrong slide. Bear with me. See, in live streams, you don't get to, fix your mess-ups. It's there for all you guys to see. The Camp Haddonfield Podcast dropped its first episode at like 1 o'clock in the morning last night because it was just tech issues galore. And there was, every Camp Haddonfield Podcast episode is supposed to be a one-on-one discussion about Halloween and or horror. And last night was solo just due to some tech issues. So it's out there. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. Go give it a listen after this stream's over. Drop us a review. That'd be appreciated. Just another way you can get different content from us. And it's not just going to be the same old stuff recycled over there. That's not what we do, despite what some people say in the comment section. And, I can only imagine you guys are as equally as frustrated as I am with how that live stream AMA went yesterday. And like, if you were watching this channel earlier this week, we told you guys Don't expect a trailer or even a poster to drop from this live stream. I wouldn't even expect informative information to drop during Fandom Entertainment's live stream. By the way, we have no association with Fandom Entertainment. Generally, Fandom Entertainment are pretty stand-up guys and gals, and what they did yesterday was just complete and utter horse shit. We're not in the mudslinging business. We're not here to put down anybody else's YouTube channel, website, or whatever. But to advertise Michael Myers at the center of your thumbnail, hell, Jason Blum is in the background of that thumbnail, and give us 45 seconds of content that was not delivered in the way possible, content that was thrown over to a fairly new app because of tech issues. And even when people went to download that app to go watch the stream, there was more tech issues. But yet a bunch of people went and downloaded that app, didn't they? Just questionable ethics by those guys over there, and that's disappointing because I've never known them to be that. People can say whatever they want about our channel here, guys, and there's a lot of people that help out here. And maybe we ramble on too much at times, kind of like I'm doing right now. And maybe we don't get right to the point, but we will never, ever mislead you. The second that we have to turn to clickbaity shit and start misleading you guys is the second that we walk away from the channel. At the end of the day, as great as it is to have your guys' support, we have people on Patreon that are supporting us. We already have a super chat in today that we're going to get to. It's not like it's going to pay my bills here. I got 2 kids, a house, a couple of cars. I can't do this exclusively. I got to work. So it's not like we're robbing everyone of their money to run clickbait shit that has no substance behind it. We will never do that. Or we just wouldn't be on here. We're on here to build a community, guys. Whether it's a Halloween community, a horror community, a sci-fi fantasy community, we're here to build a positive, influential community where all you guys can have a say and you don't have some guy looking past all your questions, only answering super chat questions. And that's not a shot at anybody. And I'll tell you right now, this should, you guys should know this going forward on this stream, that I'm not going to have time to get to everyone's questions today. I'm just not. When we did that hour and 45-minute stream, whatever it was, last week, it was awesome. I answered everything I could because it was the first one. And I'm not just going to pick, there's a name I know, so I'm only going to answer this person's question. No, we're going to try to get to as many questions as we can. However, if you want to make your questions a priority on the channel, send in a super chat, and we will read your question on air. 110%, we will always get to it. And if for some reason we don't get to it, we will make its own private video. So yeah, if you want your question a priority, guys, send in those super chats. We'll get to them. But if you can't afford it, because times are hard out there, guys, like the world is being dominated by this pandemic right now, and we're all responding however we can. Just being here to sit down and have this conversation with us about Halloween Kills, and we do have some Halloween Kills tidbits and information to drop a little later on in this video. We're going to talk about the Myers house. I know you're probably sitting there, how many times can you beat the Myers house to death? There's something big we haven't told people with the Myers house. And because I don't think it's a spoiler to the overall movie, we're going to reveal that in this stream. We're also going to reveal to you some rumored characters that are in fact not coming back. And we're going to have some other tidbits for you guys. So again, if you want to make your questions a priority, guys, and support the channel, send in a super chat. Anything that comes in goes right back into the channel. We're growing here. And I think the thing about this stream I'm most excited for today, guys, is we have a couple of big announcements that I think will affect everybody here. So, can't wait to get to those. Anyways, guys, this is a live stream Ask Me Anything about Halloween Kills. And I'm going to try to roll back the curtain a little bit here. We're not in the business of giving away all the spoilers for the movie, even though we basically know the entire movie. And if you think we're full of shit, I think we've proven in the past that we're not. It's just fact. We've been spot on with almost every single detail we revealed to you guys. It's come out. Kind of like what we told you was going to happen with that live stream the other day. We're not going to just drop all the spoilers. So those people that are sitting here and just drop the trailer release date, which nobody knows for certain, not even the people at Blumhouse and Universal because of what it's waiting on. They know when they want to drop it, but that doesn't mean they're going to be able to drop it then. So if you're expecting the trailer release date to drop in this video, it's not going to happen. And if you're just here for, big time spoilers with Halloween Kills, it's not going to happen. If you're only here for those two things, there's the door. But if you want to sit and join this community and talk some Halloween, you're welcome to. Smash that subscribe button, drop a like, and we'll dive into it. All right, enough of my shit. Let's get into some live questions here. And I look over in the chat and I see the wife on the screen. That's always troublesome. You're sitting here in a live stream, you're getting ready to get to it, and the wife pops up in the live stream. That's scary. You just pray you're not in trouble. What is the cost to participate on the Super Chat? If you click the financial button, the little money sign there, Cheryl, there's all different levels you can do. I think it's as cheap as $2, but it limits the characters you have, and then 5, and then 7, then 10. Actually, Frank, who's in the chat, is one of our buddy Dave McRae's moderators over on his channel. He'd probably know more about that than I would. This is only my second time doing an actual live stream. But again, anything that comes in goes right back into the channel. Let's get into it. Some people submitted some questions early, which I have written down on this paper because I do stuff old school. That's what happens when you're in your 30s going into your 40s. Anyways, first up, guys, and we're going to get to the questions in the chat. Again, if you want to make it a priority, send a Super Chat in. By the way, for those that are new to Super Chats, I think you have to technically create a channel first in order to send in a Super Chat question. So do that. But we will try to get to questions. We will definitely get to questions, that aren't Super Chat questions. But again, if you want your question a priority, do it that way. All right, first up, Duck Hunter 67. Do you think the film is still scheduled for October release? Well, Mr. Duck Hunter, fantastic name, by the way. Who'd love Duck Hunt on the Nintendo? I'm old enough to remember that. Think about this. You could point a gun, a plastic toy gaming gun, at your TV, and it would actually track where it's aiming back in the late 1980s. You can't do that with most games right now unless you have VR. That's just the way it is. Sorry, off on a tangent there again. Do I think the film is still slated for an October release? Well, Mr. Duck Hunter, I'll tell you right now, the film is absolutely slated for an October release. This is the information we have. And might be beating a dead horse here, but you asked the question, so we're going to answer it. Halloween Kills is slated for a October 2020 release. The information we have says that Universal and Blumhouse have both decided that they are going to release this movie in October, despite the 45 seconds of information you heard on yesterday's BS stream. However, due to the current pandemic, things can change. For example, the NHL is starting back up, and 2 teams today had a bunch of cases come up, and they had to shut down their training, and now nobody knows what's going to go on there. Whatever this pandemic does, it's going to affect how things play out, whether it's Halloween, Mulan, even Tenet. At the end of the day, as much power as Chris Nolan has, guys, what's going on around the world has more say than Chris Nolan does. It's just facts. So things could get backed up and could change, but right now the plan is absolutely an October 2020 release. But here's where it gets sticky. According to our information, these guys want to release Halloween Kills in theaters. Now, there's some debate whether it's October 16th, which is the scheduled date, or if they're going to back it up to October 30th, 2 weeks, and release this thing one day before Halloween, which I think is kind of a cool idea. There's 77 of you guys in here right now. Would any of you guys be really pissed off if they backed the movie up 2 weeks and we got to see it a day before Halloween? I wouldn't. Hell, I kind of like the idea. So there's some debate on the day. But the other thing that's really holding up this process outside of the pandemic is our information states that they want to release the movie theatrically for the first 2 or 3 weeks, where all your profit is basically in a movie. Even during these pandemic times, that's just the way it's going to be. You know, you're going to have big time money coming in the first 2-3 weeks, even during these times. Will it be as a vast difference as it normally is when it comes to the movie theater system, guys? No, it won't be as big, but most of the money is going to be early on. And the problem here is why we don't have a poster and why we don't have a trailer is these guys do want to release it on VOD, not at the same time as they release it theatrically, but 2 or 3 weeks later, so there's still a big VOD profit margin. And that's not how the movie industry works. That's not how cinemas work. That's not how they work up here in Canada. It's not how they work in the States. It's not how they work overseas. There's an agreement between production companies and distribution companies and companies that own all these theaters. AMC, Regal, Landmark, you name it. And to expect those guys to be okay with you turning around and releasing the movie that they're trying to profit off of themselves 2 or 3 weeks later, I can see why there's a holdup. I can, because logistically, under normal times, there's no way that would ever be allowed. Just plain and simple, it's no way it would ever be allowed. Because at the end of the day, guys, if Halloween Kills is on VOD and it's $20 or even $30, you know, I'm just looking over in the chat. If Chad invites Justin and Johnny and Jonathan over to his house to watch it for $30 on VOD, that is way cheaper than releasing it in cinemas. Meaning the cinemas, the movie theaters, are not going to get the profit margin they would normally get. And Blumhouse and Universal aren't going to make the money they'd normally make. You know, I keep seeing people, and I don't understand where their logic's coming from, state that if this movie gets released on VOD, it'll make more money than it will in cinemas. No, it won't. It won't even be remotely close. That is why they're trying to pull off this dual system. It won't make as much money as it would in cinemas under these times at 50% seating capacity. And I get it, I'm going a little long on this, but this is important. This is why I was going to address this topic later in the show. It's actually in the show notes. This is why the holdup is, guys. Did you ever sit there and wonder why Halloween Kills wasn't announced way before when it actually got announced? Like, does anybody remember we had to wait quite a while for Halloween Kills to be officially announced? I believe it was Jeff Snyder over at Collider who first dropped Halloween Kills was happening on the Snyder Cut, long before it was ever announced. And that's because you had to have Malika Cad sign off, you had to have Blumhouse sign off, you had to have Universal sign off. There's more production companies and distribution companies involved in the Halloween franchise right now than there is in most movies. That's just fact. And it makes the situation complicated because in order to release it in cinemas and also turn around and do 2 to 3 weeks later to put it out on VOD, guys, it's not practical. I don't know if that's going to happen, so something's got to give way. Either these guys got to decide they're confident enough in the movie just being in cinemas with the restrictions, or they go the dangerous route of just VOD, where it might make some money, but it's not going to make as much, or somehow they get the movie companies or movie theater industry to sign off on them being okay with them releasing it 2 or 3 weeks later on VOD. And I'll tell you right now, that wasn't well received at first. Why do you think the whole, AMC's banning Universal films? It came because of comments pertaining to this movie, basically. So, anyways, that was long and drawn out. That is your reason why we don't have a trailer yet. However, we in fact might have a poster soon. So if you're someone that can live with a poster, then great. Frank mentions in the chat, VOD would also mean piracy. Absolutely. I mean, there's piracy with movie theaters. The difference is when you see, pirated shit from movie theaters, it usually looks like crap. If someone pirates the VOD, it's not going to look like crap, and it's going to lose even more money. Spot on, Frank. Good point. All right, let's get to another question. Jules Wright says, do you think they will bring back Danielle Harris as a different character in Halloween Kills? Well, Jules, I'm just going to be blunt about this because we've addressed this before. We can confirm 110% Danielle Harris. This isn't a spoiler, guys. A spoiler would be if we told you somebody's in the movie that you didn't want to know about, not someone that's not in the movie. Meaning, yeah, Danielle Harris is not in this movie. She's not in this movie as Jamie Lloyd. She's not in this movie as a different Jamie Lloyd. And she's most certainly not in this movie as some random, cashier at the local corner store. Danielle Harris is not in this movie. All right. Question in from Rima. Do you ever intend to attempt another Halloween fan film? Rima is someone we attempted to record a Halloween fan film with a couple years ago, right before the release of Halloween 2018. We figured it would be a really good time to drop a Halloween fan film. It was a lot of fun filming. We basically tried to cram a 25 to 30-minute fan film into a 2-night shoot, which was a horrible idea on my behalf. There's footage that exists of this thing. We probably have enough decent footage to put out a really good trailer. But at the end of the day, with all the moving pieces that were involved in the 2-day shoot, it was just impossible to assemble a edit that was even mediocre, to be honest. That's not to say the performances are bad, but we needed to add more and reshoot some things, and it's hard to reschedule everyone, and basically it's on the shelf. So maybe someday we'll get a concept trailer out, and we'll release that footage. I know people that participated in that Halloween Bloodlines fan film wanted to see more, but it is what it is. All right, guys, we're going to move over to the normal questions here. Bear with me. I've seen a couple of super chats come in, so we're going to try to answer those right now, and then we'll get back to them later. Robert Andrew Paul, great content on this channel. Thanks, Robert. It's appreciated. We get it. We're a lot smaller than some of those other YouTube channels, although a lot of those other YouTube channels helped inspire us to make the move from a radio podcast network that we were part of a couple years ago into the YouTube atmosphere. It just took us a little while to get consistent with it and learn some of the tech that goes with it. Dragon. Frank Riker, just showing support. Frank is one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my... I guess I've never actually met Frank yet, but if you guys tune into Dave McRae's channel and hear some of the stuff Frank drops, absolute comedian. All right, Johnny T. Hey, Sean, you mentioned 6 main characters in Halloween Kills and named 5 of them. I know you don't want to spoil the 6. Can you say if the characters from 78 and 18? Okay. So a little while ago, we said that Halloween Kills is an ensemble movie. And not just because there's a bunch of characters in the movie, but because it's the first ever Halloween movie to feature 6 characters that the story all revolves around. It's not just a Laurie Strode story. And we let you know 5 of the 6 because the 6th one's kind of a spoiler. I cannot tell you who the 6th character is. We know, but that would be a spoiler. But can I tell you if the character is from 78 and 18? Well... the character is in Halloween 2018. And the character's kind of in Halloween 78, depending on how you look at it. I know, trick question. Toronto Freddy, what's up, Sean? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, man, doing as well as we can. All right, let's get to some of the actual chat questions here. Get to a few of those. All right. Typhoon, my birthday's on the 29th, so I'd be fine with a 30th of October release. That's awesome, man. That'd be one hell of a birthday. Getting to go see Halloween Kills a day later. Actually, technically speaking, most premieres are on Thursdays, usually at 6 or 7 o'clock. They don't really do the midnight thing anymore. So really, you'd be seeing Halloween Kills on your birthday. That'd be pretty awesome. All right, where are we here? Lots of discussion going on in the chat. Great. That's great that you guys are talking amongst yourselves. The mystery comeback character. The podcast people interviewing Laurie claim she had 2 failed marriages. Does anyone else think it's either Jamie Lloyd or Pearl Harbor fellow Josh? Well, it's not Jamie Lloyd. and it's not Danielle Harris. Is it Josh Hartnett? I don't know. Maybe. Can you tell I'm tired and didn't get much sleep? That's what happens with a 5-month-old. I don't know how the wife does it. We got a bunch of people making guesses in the comment section. I am not going to confirm or deny any of that. I will say it's not as simple as just guessing a particular character without doing your homework first. All right, guys. We are 30 minutes into this thing. We're going to get to some more of your questions in a second. Again, if you want to make your question a priority, feel free to send in a super chat and support the channel. Also, guys, we have a big announcement here. Apologies that I've also left that Camp Haddonfield podcast thing up this entire time, but I'll mention again, Camp Haddonfield Podcast, episode 1 is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor, not Stitcher. So let's get rid of that. Need more staff. All right, so we have a big announcement we want to get to here, guys. We're going to type a link down in the comment section below so you can go to where this announcement's going to be. And I'm doing that myself at the moment because I've been so busy. I was supposed to make someone a moderator in here for this chat, and I didn't get time to get around to it. All right, so here's the announcement, guys. If you like what we're doing at Fandom Empire, we've been asking you in some of the videos, are you invested in following us even if it's not specifically Halloween content or Halloween Kills content? Maybe it's other Halloween content. Maybe it's other horror content. Maybe it's Star Wars or Supernatural or Marvel or DC. We got a bunch of it coming. We've been slowly growing. We launched a couple years ago under a different name, made the change to Fandom Empire. The staff has been growing. Well, we're close to full on our staff now. We're still looking for a few staff positions. But just wanted to put this out there, guys. I'll get to your question in a second, Frank. I see it. We thought for our development at Fandom Empire, guys, in order to take that next step and be able to providing you guys content of a quality manner with a different outlet, that we needed a website. Now, you heard us mention a couple weeks ago that we were going to launch a website. So one of the things we've been doing behind the scenes is working really, really hard on launching a website that's going to include stuff like, and for this includes Halloween Ends, Halloween Kills, Future of Halloween, Halloween, horror in general, sci-fi, fantasy, you name it. It's going to include news, rumors, speculations, also a merchandise store. It's going to include all that good shit over there, guys. And our website, which I'm posting in the chat right now, is www.fandomempire.net. We wanted .com, but it turns out it was already taken and not even in use. So www.fandomempire.net will be updated very often. You'll be able to get information over there that's not just recycled information on here. In fact, there may already be some information over on that website that we're not talking about right now. So again, www.fandomempire.net. Add it to your bookmarks, guys. You can subscribe for updates over there on the channel. So every time we post something new, it goes up there on that channel. Hopefully you guys appreciate the website. We felt like it was an important step forward for us. And yeah, it's going to be good shit. It's not a super complicated website. It's very clean looking. Again, big shout out to Slade on the logo work that he did. Looks great. Exactly what we were looking for. And it's clean. It's simplistic. It's easy to use on your desktop and on mobile. And yet we'll keep all you guys active. So fandomempire.net. And again, I'm not sending you guys over there to make money or anything because the website is not profitable and may never be profitable. It's just another outlet for you guys to follow Fandom Empire and join in on this brand we're growing, and more importantly, the community that we're growing with a bunch of great people like all you. So again, fandomempire.net, check it out. Let's get back to the questions. I seen Super Chat come in. Frank Riker, Sean, would I be too bold in asking you if Halloween Kills is going to be a copy of Halloween 2 in the hospital setting? No, I don't think that's too bold, man. We'll answer that. Might kind of kill content that's on one of our upcoming videos next week, but we'll answer it. No, it's not a carbon copy of Halloween 2. If any of you guys are expecting like the back half of this movie is going to be Michael Myers showing up at the hospital, killing everybody, that's not what takes place. And I know it's months from now, hopefully, when we see the movie, but if you ever question if we know what we're talking about, maybe record the next minute of what I'm going to say. You are not going to see Michael Myers show up at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital in the back half of the movie and quietly go on a massacre hunting Laurie and company. That's not what happens in this movie. The hospital, however, though, does have another purpose that they didn't really use in Halloween 2. And I love the way that David Gordon Green and company utilize this purpose. You know, the hospital serves its purpose in this movie. It's very important. But anybody that thinks it's just a retell or a carbon copy of Halloween 2, that is not where they're going with that. Not at all. All right, let's keep this going. Is Halloween Kills having parts H4? That was from Michael in the chat. I don't really know what you mean, Michael. You might have to clarify yourself a little better than that. The mystery character in Halloween Kills is going to be Michael Myers. Would it be wrong for me to say kind of? There's definitely some stuff that goes down that's a mystery. All right, guys. Let's again, if you want to send in some questions, go ahead. I'm kind of having some issues with the chat here. I'm looking to go through it. The Halloween poster is, Frank Riker says, the Halloween poster is Michael shrugging his shoulders with a question mark over his head. Wouldn't that be awesome? Come on, let's be honest. If that thing drops tomorrow, people are sharing that all over Twitter and Instagram. That's just facts. That is just facts. All right. Guys, again, keep those questions coming in, and Super Chat's available, etc. Also, if you want to support the channel in a different way, guys, and actually, we have a question about this. Let me get to that question. Where is it here? I forgot about the pre-show questions. Those ones are always a priority. Again, guys, if you can't afford to Super Chat, the number one way to make sure your question gets answered on air is to send the questions in early to us via Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram. John Stevens says, love the channel. Keep up the great work. Was wondering what we get if we join your Patreon other than just supporting the channel. It's a great question, John. This is what you get when you join our Patreon. We actually need to update the names on the list because it continues to grow. But there's some of the people that are supporting the Patreon right now. Joey, Toronto Freddy, Joseph, Nick, James, Matt, Brianna, Kenny, Brian, Reno, Aaron, Jim, Chad, Greg, Matt, and Marcus. And there's a couple more names that have joined that list. So what you get when you join the Patreon, guys, is this. So when the Camp Haddonfield podcast is recorded, it's actually recorded with video. And if you're on the Patreon, you can actually see that podcast visually instead of just listening on a podcatcher. So that's one thing you get. The other thing you get is a behind-the-scenes look at what happens when we record our podcast and our shows, how we go about our business. Sometimes you get to see some of the notes that we get from our sources on whether it's Halloween or Star Wars or Supernatural. And another thing that we do back there is we give exclusive content over there. I'm not saying the people that run Patreon that just, throw a name up on the end of their video are doing it wrong. It's their Patreon. They can do whatever they want. But when you guys subscribe to our Patreon, we make sure we're dishing out content over there that you're not getting on the YouTube channel. Content that is not just recycled. And for those of you that have been paying attention to the Patreon and our Patreon subscribers know this. 2 or 3 times a month we post stuff exclusive to our Patreon members. And yeah, so we definitely give out a lot for that. Anyways, that's enough self-promotion for now. This is a good one. Jakeinator, I realize nothing's set in stone, but when do you think the trailer is coming? Well, Jake, we don't know when the trailer's coming, other than it was told to us the marketing campaign is right around the corner. Basically, the marketing campaign could start next week, but that would require sign-off on the route they want to take with releasing this movie, and that could take a while. Again, if I had to make a prediction, though, I wouldn't sleep on the San Diego Comic-Con virtual event, guys. It's going to be massive, especially with what's going on right now. Chad in the live chat says, do you think Kills will pay homage to previous films like 18. Halloween Kills has, elements of the original Halloween from 78. It has a lot of Halloween 18 in it. It has a little bit of Halloween H2 or Halloween 2 in it. Pardon me, not H2. But like I said in a previous video, Halloween Kills is more different than any other Halloween movie that has ever come before it, with the exception of Rob Zombie's movies or Halloween 3. Throat's getting a little tingly. It's an ensemble movie, guys, told in 2 different times in a unique way that allows, diehard fans of the original to have some massive enjoyment they might not have gotten out of Halloween 18, but also allows, new fans, because let's be real here, guys. There's people that went to see Halloween 2018 that weren't big Halloween fans before that are big fans now. That's just the way it works. So, good stuff there. Good stuff there, and there's definitely some homages. Back to the pre-show questions. All right, you guys will get a kick out of this. I know some YouTube channels don't respond to some hate that they get, and then someone like, say, Dave goes and makes a video out of his hate mail. Gotta love that. I had to read this one on air because this person may or may not be watching right now. Manny says, "No one cares about your babbling. Get to the point or get out. Tell us when the trailer's coming." We have a few people that have responded to the channel like that. And, Manny, we're not telling you when the trailer's coming because we don't know when the trailer's coming. We know what's intended, but not even Universal and Blumhouse know the exact trailer date because they don't know if they're going to have their method of release signed off. So not only did I answer your question, even though you were being a dick, I provided you some new information. Now, if you don't like what we're doing, there's the door. Anyway, let's keep this thing rolling. Mike Bell. Mike Bell. Interesting. I know a Mike Bell, and this is the Mike Bell I know. Sean, buddy, how goes it? Do you think the people who follow Fandom Empire would be surprised if they knew who your actual main source was? Keep killing it, bro. Well, for protection of this person's job, yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised if they knew who our main source was. And I think quite a few of them would know the person by name. It just so happens that, I've said this before, I'll say it again. We all know somebody, right? Your mailman might be, the husband to, a female or male CEO of a company. Or maybe you went to school with an NHL player, or maybe your sister's husband is an NBA player. There's different ways to know people in different walks of life, and we're kind of blessed by having a couple of connections. Frank Riker. I predict Halloween Kills will break box office records and also bring a second wave of COVID. Yeah, because people want to go to the movies. Right. Right. Well, I think NASCAR might already be taking care of that, Frank. NASCAR, in fact, might be taking care of that. Hate mail, Johnny T says, hate mail videos are every now and then are a classic. Well, we might have to do one of those. Got to know the right people. Isn't that like just the way life works, though, guys? You got to know the right people. Like, my grandfather, when I was much younger, used to tell me, keep in mind, he's telling like a 6-year-old kid this. He died when I was very young. It's not about what you know, Sean. It's about who you know. And I'm not sure there have ever been more truer words spoken. R.I.P. David Giroux. All right, guys, we're going to get back to your questions in a second here. Let's dive into, we have 2 more pieces of Halloween Kills information we're going to release for you guys here today. And some of it could be spoilery. Some of it may not be. It's your guys' decision if you want to hear what we have to say. All right. And again, keep sending those questions in. We're going to get to some more of the questions. If you want to send in super chats, you can do that too. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, you can do that too. If you want to send hate mail, you can do that too. Toronto Freddy, Dave McRae's hate mail vids are fucking hilarious. Dave McRae is one of the most charismatic guys I have ever met in my life, and more down to earth than people give him credit for. And a fellow Canadian, too. And no, I'm not wearing this hat just because I'm a Dave McRae fan. I've been a Blue Jays fan for 25 years. All right, guys, so here it is. Let's talk about some Halloween characters that are not returning in Halloween Kills. And there's one that just drives me mad. I don't know how we got here, but I can tell you that for certain this character's not in the movie. We already told you Danielle Harris is not in the movie. I can tell you to our knowledge, I can't say we've pushed for this information too much, Josh Hartnett is not in the movie. So people that keep going on about Danielle Harris and Josh Hartnett, that's not where they're going with this. If Josh Hartnett is in the movie, then it's a misstep on our behalf for not knowing. I'd be stunned. Here's who else isn't in the movie. I've seen it on YouTube channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. People seem to think Aaron, the podcaster / reporter from Halloween 2018, survived that movie and is in Halloween Kills. Let's set the record straight. Aaron from Halloween 2018, the guy that was a dick to Laurie, is in fact not in Halloween Kills because he is very dead. So let's put that to rest right now and just settle it, Aaron is not in Halloween Kills. Here's who else isn't in Halloween Kills. And Dr. Wynn is not in Halloween Kills. I'm sorry, he's just not. I don't know why people keep going back to that, whether you're Thorne fans or fan of of him appearing nameless in the original Halloween movie. Dr. Wynn is not in Halloween Kills. Dr. Loomis is in Halloween Kills, but not Dr. Wynn. Frank, to be honest, if you asked me that same question, he asked, Sean, how is it that you can bite your tongue with all this knowledge? I, for one, would probably make my head explode. Well, let's be real here. We're using some of this knowledge to help grow a brand. I think it's generous when you guys send in a super chat question and support the channel. I think it's generous when you guys sign up for our Patreon. It's incredible. Which, by the way, you can sign up for our Patreon for as little as $2 a month. It's not like it's extremely unaffordable. I think it goes up to $10 all a month. There's other people that help run that. But we're using this information to grow a brand. We have some connections with certain companies and people in them, and we're going to use that to try to grow a positive community. That doesn't mean negativity isn't justified sometimes, guys. You're not going to see me get on here and friggin' put gold stars on everything just for the sake of doing it or pleasing everyone. At the end of the day, much like Dave does over on his channel, I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. And if you don't agree, that's great. All film is subjective. All opinions are subjective. But I'm not going to change my opinion for more support or more super chats or Patrons. That's just not the way it works. And I don't want to spoil the movie for everybody. Guys, before I joined Channel 1138 back in the day and was running a Star Wars podcast and was in with all those guys, I never would have been able to keep my mouth shut about spoilers. But you learn from people over there. You're in the industry more or less as much as you can be from up here in Canada. And you keep your mouth shut and you learn to tease the movie. You know what Universal and Blumhouse loves? When you tease a movie. Because all you're doing is helping them. I'm not giving away, for example, oh my God, did you hear Laurie had triplets taken away from her? And those triplets return in Halloween Kills to help fend off Michael Myers and save Laurie and Allison and Karen? That would be me spoiling something major. Now, obviously, something that ridiculous does not happen. But they love YouTube channels to go out there and tease for them. You can get blacklisted by some of these people really easy, though. Frank Riker is Josh and Jamie, husband and wife. If it was a Rob Zombie film, maybe, dude. I could see Zombie going there. Michael Horan in the chat says, from 1978, what is your favorite scene in the movie? Oh, my favorite scene in the 1978 movie, huh? I don't know if I can answer that one off the top of my head. I'm sort of in the unpopular group of I don't believe the 1978 movie is the best Halloween movie. It's legendary on screen and off screen. I think my favorite thing about the 1978 movie, it's not a scene, but my favorite thing about it is the atmosphere and the suspense. Something Halloween 2018 was sorely missing. Blaine Sanders in the chat says, bring back Ellie Cornell, a.k.a. Rachel from Halloween 4 and 5. Have her play Vicky's mom. To my knowledge, Ellie Cornell is not in this movie either. And if she is, it's at the same level PJ Souls was. You know, something very, very minor and maybe not even noticeable. David vs. Goliath. He hits us up every day. We try to get to him as much as we can. If we don't get the trailer by mid-August, we are screwed. Under normal circumstances, yes, I would agree with that. But given what's going on between the pandemic and what's going on with how they want to release this movie, I don't think anything's off the table at this point, guys. I think it'd be real foolhardy to eliminate the prospect of anything. And I can tell you one thing. One of the reasons they're considering releasing us a poster soon is because a poster does no harm. If this movie, you know, if the apocalypse hits and this movie gets backed up to 2020 or 2021, you can tell I'm tired. I'm forgetting what year we're in. If this movie gets backed up to 2021, guys, there's no harm in releasing a poster. It generates some hype, keeps the buzz going, but it's a poster. It's not a trailer. So, poster, I don't want to say what we heard last night just because I think there's more to it than that. We definitely give some hints on an article on the www.FandomEmpire.net website. Again, head on over there, subscribe for updates. Let's get back to the chats here. I don't think we had any more pre-show chats, but I want to make sure I didn't miss any of those guys. Sanjay says, do you think Halloween Ends will be delayed? I think there's an extremely good chance Halloween Ends is going to be delayed. I think there's a real chance that Halloween Ends doesn't come out to 2022. Could be wrong, but I can tell you there's absolutely talk going on. As much talk as there is about the release date right now, guys, and if the trailer's dropping, there's as much talk going on behind the scenes right now as to how they're going to go about filming Halloween Ends. And I know people are going to say, well, things are opening back up and productions are starting, but there's so much more that goes into that. There's so much more that goes into it than that. Not only are there, restrictions, and restrictions are different in different places. You got to remember, talent is contracted to do other jobs. And a lot of these contracts don't necessarily have written in them, in case of a world pandemic. Some of them, sure, but some of them don't. And at the end of the day, Halloween Ends is going to have a lot of people in it. For as much people that die in Halloween Kills, and there's a lot. We played the, guess the kill count game not too long ago. And here, I'll give you this one, guys. I'll give you this one. Here's a minor spoiler because you don't know how they happen or where they happen. I'm going to give you what the kill count in this movie is in between. The kill count in Halloween Kills is somewhere between 27 and 35. Sorry, Halloween Kills has a kill count somewhere between 27 and 35. I know the exact number, but now you guys have an idea of where it is. So, all right, let's keep on with the Halloween Ends thing. Yeah, Halloween Ends could be delayed. There's no guarantee they're going to get back to filming this thing, and believe me, it's literally just as big of an issue for them right now as how they're going to release Halloween Kills. I don't envy the people at Blumhouse or Universal or Trancas because they all got to work together on figuring this out. And they sort of got like this just big, messy pot in front of them, and they're pulling out their hair trying to figure out how to go about things. So, I'm going to go back over to the chat here, guys. Try to catch up. Again, if you want something prioritized, you're going to have to super chat it because there's no way I can get to all this. But I'll get to what I can. Angel Perez, the two silly cops from Halloween 5 are the mystery characters. I think we already had a nod to those two in Halloween 2018. The Film Lodge, how do you think Halloween 1978 is not the best film in the series? It's the best horror film ever made. Okay, so Film Lodge, let me clarify this. I think the 1978 Halloween movie is, in fact, the best horror movie ever made, considering the budget, the time, how they went about doing it, its success, the fact that it wasn't a success immediately, but it grew over time, something that usually doesn't happen. Yeah, it's the best horror movie ever made, but does that make it my favorite? I am definitely not too biased to admit that my favorite and what I think are the best can be absolutely two different things. You know, Halloween 2018 might be my second favorite Halloween movie, but do I think it's the second best Halloween movie? No, it's probably fourth or fifth, but it's personally my second favorite. Where are we here? We had another one coming. Myers 78. The Myers character is Myers himself. He will drop the mask and ta-ta. It's William Shatner. William Shatner is one hilarious fucking guy. I was at Fan Expo many years ago, and, well, there's some security there. This is way back in, if I had to guess, 2005, 2004, whatever year he was there. And this fan was pestering him as he was walking away to his panel and, like, just bugging him for a picture and an autograph and not waiting in line like you're supposed to do at these things. And security is, like, sort of rushing him along. And finally Shatner stops and turns around. And he's like, "Would you leave me the fuck alone? Fuck." Right in the auditorium. Like, everybody stops. It was a hilarious moment. I wonder if it's on YouTube. Someone might have recorded that and gotten it, but it was a hilarious moment. Don't piss that dude off. He'll let you know how he feels. We got some guesses coming. 31, maybe. Wouldn't 31 be an interesting number for the kill count in the movie? Who do we got here? Michael is savage. Yes, that's right, Robert Anderpol. He is savage. Never ever will people die in flashbacks. Since we've already talked about this, not in this stream, but before, I'll answer it quickly. Anybody who thinks that they can't kill anybody off in this 1978 flashback is 110% wrong. It doesn't matter what Laurie said in the past. There's always a way they can spin things, and I'm telling you guys for certain, someone dies in the 1978 flashback during Halloween Kills. So it's not just going to be, hey, let's go back to 1978 because of the blue lighting and it feels cool and it'd be really cool to do. No, someone's going to die. And it's done in a pretty epic way. Jake Blaster Production says, "Sean, great work, man. Keep it up." Yeah, Jake, thanks, man. Congrats on the new channel, by the way. Joker says, "I like the original Halloween movie from 1978, but I personally don't think it's a slasher movie like the rest are." I think that's accurate. I don't think Halloween from 1978 is your typical slasher. All right, guys, we're going to jump to another piece of information we have for you guys on Halloween Kills, and then we're going to get a few more questions and then probably end this thing. So, again, if you want to get any final questions in, guys, now's the time to do it. If you want to assure that they get answered, send in a super chat. And if you want to check out our Patreon, we just posted the Camp Haddonfield podcast video over there early this morning. But another thing we have up on the Patreon channel is a little bit of a run-in we had with one of the higher-ups at Blumhouse, and we tell you how that goes on. The video is over, exclusive to Patreon. You can check that out. And the link to Patreon, by the way, is www.patreon.com/FandomEmpire. This is why we need to get those mods up and active. Again, if you guys are interested in becoming a mod, and I see that you guys have been participating we're really strict about who we bring into the staff. We've had some bad experiences in the past. But if you're interested in becoming a mod, hit us up on Instagram, FandomEmpireNow, and we can talk about it. Let's dive into this this information on Halloween Kills, the Myers house. And I'm going to warn you guys, this information might piss off some people. They might not be okay with this. So, as you know, and they've already confirmed this, so this isn't a spoiler. The Myers house is back in Halloween Kills. I know most people just point to, okay, well, it's obviously back in 1978, the flashback, because why wouldn't it be? But as we've told you guys in the past, the Myers house does not only appear in 1978, the Myers house appears in 2018. Not the movie, but the year. Halloween Kills. And we told you that the Myers house plays a really, really important role in the movie. It's kind of like a character on its own, but that's not news. What people don't know is the way the Myers house appears in 1978 is different from the way the Myers house appears in 2018. So in 1978, it's basically the Myers house we see in the 1978 movie. Like, to a T. They did a fan-fucking-tastic job. Johnny T, you can always hit us up on Facebook, Fandom Empire, Twitter, FandomEmpireNow, you name it. And here's how it's different, guys. And I know some people are going to raise their hands and say, well, that's not what it says in the Halloween 2018 novelization. At the end of the day, guys, a novelization is not canon. It's just not. It's cool. It's informative. It's a fun read. It lets you know more than the movie does, but that doesn't mean they have to follow it. In 2018, in Halloween Kills, the current time, the Myers house appears, and there's actually people living in it, and it's been renovated of sorts. So if you're expecting the old creepy Myers house in the current timeline, not going to happen. However, again, of sorts. However, you still get the creepy Myers house back in 1978. So you're literally, for new fans, they're getting an up-to-date Myers house. And for the old fans, they're getting the classic Myers house. It quite literally is a way for them to please everybody. And I think a lot of people might be, upset that they changed the Myers house. It's not going to be changed like it is in, Halloween 6. It's nothing like that. But it's different, and it shows. What do you guys think? Comment down in the comment section below. Are you okay with the Myers house being renovated, being lived in, and appearing in a much different capacity than, if you think about it, guys, think about every way we've seen the Myers house other than the first shot in Halloween 1978. We have never seen the Myers house like this. So for them to have the balls to go and do something like this in this movie, even though it might piss off some traditionalists, I find cool. I find gutsy. We don't want to see the same thing over and over again. At least I don't. And so the Myers house in a much different light in 2018 than you see it in 1978. So you really sort of get your fix of the Myers house in this movie. All right, guys, we're going to be coming down. We'll go for, what time is it, 3:08? We're going to go till, we'll go to about 3:20 on this stream. So 12 more minutes, guys. If you have any questions you want to send in, whatever, get them in, and we'll do our plugs and get on out of here. Again, we're going to be doing a Friday live stream each and every Friday. It won't always be Halloween, but it'll probably stay primarily Halloween for a while, unless there's something massive that drops. But we have enough kills tidbits without spoiling the movie that we can definitely continue to go over them on Fridays. We need a name for the Friday live stream, though. I know we've asked you guys this before, but comment down in the comment section below. Give us some Friday names, and it can't just be exclusive to horror. Fandom Fridays doesn't work because it's being used by multiple people, and I really don't want to recycle something that's already being used. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. All right, let's get into the questions here we got in the chat. I'm going to scroll up a bit. I already answered Johnny's question. Casual Fox, I fear for Halloween Kills after that bullshit when the police guy put the mask on in the first. Gonna take away the basics that Halloween was based upon. Well, they should definitely build on the basics that Halloween was based upon. But that was one part of Halloween 2018 I was not a fan of. And I did think that was taking it a little bit too far. And I can say confidently you don't get a moment like that in Halloween Kills. Jonathan Rivera dies in the flashback. Who dies in the flashback? I can't tell you that. But it might be more important than you think. Film Lodge says that's super interesting. I'm assuming you mean the Myers house. Here we go. I don't remember the Myers house in 2018. No, the Myers house was not in 2018. I'm speaking in terms of the year. You got to remember, Halloween Kills does not take place in 2020. Halloween Kills takes place in 2018. It's the same night. Myers will get angry at the people who live there. That's one word for it. Where are we here? Myers house be at the start of Halloween Kills. Yes, the Myers house is all over this movie. You know, those that complained about not enough Myers house, well, guess what? It's all over this movie. You definitely get your fix. Justin, I can't answer that question. Freaky Friday kind of works. The Fandom. That's interesting, Chad. Keep in mind, I can't make this decision alone. There's a bunch of other people here at Fandom Empire that will have a say on this. It's not just going to be me on these live streams, guys. I'm going to start bringing some people in. And you're going to notice we have a fairly big staff here. Foxy the Pirate, who has supported us way back when we were Fandom Cantina and we had a mini launch in 2018. If the Halloween Kills trailer comes out this year, do you think it will be around July? Our information says the marketing campaign's about to start as long as things get signed off on. We've been reporting that for a while. I get it. People got on Twitter and said, the Kills trailer's dropping today or next Friday. And we said, that doesn't line up with any of the information we have. And people called us out on it and yada, yada, yada. And not to toot our own horn, looks like we were spot on. Again, this is just a prediction, not inside info. Mainly because when I inquired about this, I didn't get an answer back. Don't fall asleep on the San Diego Comic-Con virtual panel. Don't. Not just for Halloween, but for something like Supernatural and Star Wars. I think they're very much in play when it comes to the San Diego Comic-Con virtual event. 5-day event. I think it starts July 22nd or 23rd. Jerome White, will there be comedy like in 2014 or in 2018? I hope not. 4 is my favorite also. Jerome, yes, Halloween 4 is my favorite movie. Favorite Halloween movie, that is. No, this movie isn't even remotely as close to being as comedic. And if you're wondering if Julian is front and center in this movie, well, he is in the movie. It's not nearly as a big of a role as he had in Halloween 2018. Stephen Green, what's the deal with the trailer and release of this movie? Stephen, to recap in short, I don't know how the hell you recap in short what I said. The trailer will drop when they 110% have a release date, and I see some other websites have been running our little thing we ran. And that can't happen until a bunch of people sign off on how they want to release the movie. And how they want to release the movie is release it in cinemas, but then switch it over, like still keep it in cinemas, but also have it debut on VOD a couple weeks later. And that's not okay with a lot of movie theater companies. The Film Lodge, can't wait to see Myers scare the shit out of Lonnie. It's pretty good. I haven't seen it, but I know enough of it to know it's pretty good. Spooky Guy answered that. Great. Did you go to the Fandom Entertainment live stream with Jason Blum? Olivero says. That thing, to be blunt, was the biggest clickbait dog shit stream I have ever seen in my life. And if you guys watched a previous video this week, I praised Fandom Entertainment, but there's no praising needed there. Again, they advertised it as a Halloween thing. I think we all knew it was going to be the Kevin Bacon movie. But to only talk about Halloween in general, not just Kills, Halloween in general for 45 seconds of a 40-minute live stream is about as disgusting and desperate as it gets. I know it's desperate times, but come on. And I mean, I don't blame Jason Blum. What can he say right now? Like, his hands are tied on this. Universal's the distributor. They get to overrule him unless they want to lose Universal as a distributor, which would be a nightmare decision. Will there be a kill of a character that shocks the audience? Frank Riker. So we mentioned this before, Frank, but I'll say it again. Also, guys, only about 5 minutes left, so if you want to get your questions in, send them in now. Best way to do it's probably Super Chat at this point. We'll get to what we can. Still got to do our plugs. Frank says, Sean, will there be a kill of a character that will shock the audience? Frank, there's going to be kills of multiple characters that shock the audience. I describe it as 2 absolute grand slam scenes in this movie that we've never witnessed in any other Halloween movie before are going to leave people with jaws on the floor. I worry because I do think you walk a fine line with Halloween and crossing that line into something that's maybe a little too over the top. And I do think people are going to think these 2 sequences I'm talking about are way over the top. But at this point, I get it. I know people think Michael Myers should be this neutral character who just kills at random. And he was that in Halloween 2018. Make no mistake about it, guys. He absolutely was that. The problem is he was left for fucking dead in a fire. That's going to piss off Michael Myers. That's going to piss off anybody. Michael Myers isn't, incapable of being pissed off. So yeah, in essence, he's kind of out for revenge here. And yeah, there's 2 sequences in this movie, Frank, that are going to be mind-blowing, over the top. They're shot one of the sequences is shot in a unique way that is to modern filmmaking, and maybe some people won't be okay with it, but I love it. I'll give you this. It's basically we get to be inside the shoes of some of the characters that are getting killed. Those 2 sequences, which I can't dive into details about, other than what I just gave you, are just mind-blowingly good. And one's pretty early in the movie, and one's pretty late in the movie. And they're shocking. They really are. Here we go. Back into the chat. Wonder if Myers kills Lindsay and Tommy. Can't answer that. Thanks for the question, though. John Ward, is Loomis CGI good looking? Who's the voice? I gotta watch what I say here. The voice is the same guy from Halloween 2018. And we need to talk to you guys more about the Loomis scene. We really honestly do, but we can't yet. And that's the truth. We've been basically asked not to talk about that scene anymore. And if you want some tidbits, though, again, I'm not just trying to sell you on the Patreon. If you support us just by viewing us, we appreciate it. But there is like a 7 or 8 minute video up on the Patreon that dives into a little bit about that, and you can read in between the lines. So again, www.patreon.com/FandomEmpire. There's a video up there. I think it's called that was unexpected. Whoa. And it talks about a certain encounter, and it definitely is referring to something with Loomis. When we can reveal it publicly and are allowed to, we will. Without spoiling, could you say what your favorite scene is in the movie? My favorite scene in the movie that I know of anyway, I mean, I've seen very little visually of this movie. Like I said before, it's about knowing people. The fire escape is brilliantly done on a level that I think people aren't expecting. I've seen so many people guess how the fire escape happens, and 99.9% of them aren't even remotely close to how it happens, because it's one of those over-the-top scenes. That's kind of what I can tell you, Justin, who just super chatted. I can't give you exact details on the fire escape scene because that would be breaking what we do here at Fandom Empire, other than it's over the top. It's not what basically almost anybody has guessed online. There's unique shot selections done in that scene, guys. And strap yourselves in, because as early as that happens in the movie, Now, I'm not saying credits roll and boom, it's there. But as early as that happens in the movie, it really sets the tone for how, this movie's going to go and why this movie's called Halloween Kills. It's probably my favorite scene that I've heard about. That or the flashback sequence. The flashback sequence is out of this world good and full of suspense. Not that I've seen it personally. Can only tell you about what I've heard and or read. Olivero, this is one of my go-to channels for movie news. Keep up the good work. Thanks, dude. Appreciate the support. Look, for as much people that maybe don't like what we're doing here on the channel, there's a bunch of you guys that do like what we're doing here on the channel, and that's appreciated. Again, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, was looking at the analytics the other day, it seems like about 75% or so of the viewers have not subscribed to the channel. You can look somewhere, I don't even know if I'm pointing the right way. In one of these corners down here, there's a subscribe button. Click that subscribe button, and you will be able to keep up to date with all of our Halloween Kills content. We're going to go 5 more minutes, guys. Do we learn about Judith Myers in Halloween Kills? I don't know if I want to answer that question. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Where do we go here? Jay Beach, welcome to the channel, man. Obviously, you're from, pretty sure I've seen you over on Dave's channel. Dave's a great guy, and Dave really helped inspire us and help us choose some of the equipment we use here to do what we're doing. And we'll definitely have Dave on again in the future. And those that don't know, Dave is going to have the actress who played Judith on Monday at, I think it's 2 p.m. Eastern. I think Frank could confirm that. That's going to be a must tune in. I want to apologize here, though. Again, guys, last chance to send in questions right here. We are getting off this thing in about 5 minutes' time. But before we get to the rest of the questions, I just wanted to say we advertised that there was going to be a Halloween 6 revisited video, editorial video on Thursday. That didn't happen. There was an issue with some of the graphics, and it's coming. We apologize for advertising something as coming that didn't come, but I assure you the Halloween 6 behind-the-scenes revisited video, an editorial of sorts, is coming, and we absolutely 100% will have that out within the next 7 to 10 days or so. It's not just going to be Kills content we're doing. Yeah, thanks, Jay. It's 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, guys. You'll want to check that out over on Dave's channel. Chad says he suspected something about Judith Myers. Foxy says she's even more hyped. Little tidbits keep me going, like Spooky Guy says. All right, guys. Well, if Halloween 6 is insanely scary, Halloween 6 is something. Is something. I don't know if it's insanely scary, but I'll tell you what, I've never seen so much drama behind the scenes on a movie. The Joker says, I'll definitely be going to Halloween Kills, but I would much rather see Halloween Kills. I'd much rather see it in cinema than VOD. Hey, look, guys, people are going to rip on you for decisions you make during this time, given the current state of the world. That's just the way it works. I wish it didn't work that way, but that's the way things work. And you need to make the decisions that you need to make to protect you, your family, your loved ones. And if you think going out to a theater is dangerous, then maybe you don't go. I, for one, I'll tell you this right now, guys. This isn't a cheap way to get clickbait or more support or whatever. I have asthma, and I am a cancer survivor. That's not bullshit. And because we have a young 5-month-old here, I don't really want the wife and the baby going out if they can avoid it. Things are more locked down up here in Canada than they are in America, and that's not ripping or anything. I'm just telling you guys how it is up here in Canada. And when the movie theater opens, we'll be going. We're going to go. We're going to go safely, even if it requires buying a couple extra seats, but we're going to go. And I'm someone who's a health risk too. So don't ever let anybody tell you that the decision you're making is wrong because it's your own decision. I've seen a question come in again. We've gotten it a few times. I said I'd answer it today. Pumpkin Man for Forever after credit scene. I'd love to know where you heard wind of this. I can tell you that at least for the moment, now this can change, but for the moment, there is absolutely something that happens during / after the credits. Can't tell you what, but there's something. They could change that though, guys. You know, that's something that, you know, for example, Michael breathing at the end of Halloween 2018, a lot of people didn't even notice. It was their nice little way to give a nod that, hey, Michael lives, and B, if this movie does well enough, we're going to do more. So, hopefully you're happy we finally answered that question. Toronto Freddy, man, I just seen what you said. Look, cancer's a serious thing, and when I went through it, I was, how old would I have been? 27 years old, I believe, and it was scary. You know, I have a 11-year-old son now and a 5-month-old son, and the 11-year-old was very young back then, and it changed my life forever. It gave me a new outlook on life, and it changed me as a person. And when they say when someone gets cancer, it's not just that person, it's the family. It is. So you definitely have my my sympathies for that man and my regards. Thanks, Robert Anderpaul. It's appreciated. Same with you, Angel. In the cinemas in Germany here, only 20 people are allowed to see a movie. Yeah, man. Yeah, Foxy Pirate restrictions are going to exist. I can tell you some theaters down in the States are at 50% capacity. Some theaters down in the States are at 30% capacity when they open up. I can tell you theaters aren't even open up here in Canada. The only thing that's open up here is drive-ins. Anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Lorenzo asks about the budget. I'll get this one out really quickly. Again, well, now I got to get 2 of these out because I can't avoid that one. Lorenzo, how big's the budget for this movie? It's way bigger than people think, and that's part of the reason why there's a holdup. This is not a $10 million movie without marketing like Halloween 2018 was. You're looking at a budget more than 3 times that. When Jason Blum says it's the biggest scale movie he's ever done, he's not lying. They went balls to the walls with this, which for when we finally get to see the movie, great. But it's also one of the problems that's holding this thing up right now, because if they only came back with the same budget or even a little more, let's say if the budget would have been $15 million, this movie's coming out with no question whatsoever, even if it's straight to VOD. It's not $15 million. Like I said, it's more than 3 times the budget, guys. And if you don't believe me, when that information becomes available, you will see that. The Zaccaroni, I had COVID for 5 weeks, and it was almost worse when I had thyroid cancer when I was 3. Oh, man, I can only imagine. That's horrible. But you know what, man? Here you are, tested, standing strong, given that big old middle finger to that pandemic and cancer. And that's awesome. Appreciate your health, man. All right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Really quickly here, let's go over some of the plugs. The Camp Haddonfield podcast, if you're still thirsty for Halloween content, is out. You can check that out. Just type in Camp Haddonfield Podcast on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, and or Stitcher. That is the best way to listen to that podcast, unless you're a Patreon subscriber, in which case you can log on to the Patreon right now and see the recorded version of the podcast. But in that podcast, I sit down and I talk about the future of Halloween. I'm not talking Halloween Kills. I'm not talking Halloween Ends. I'm talking about what we're getting with Halloween after this trilogy is over. That's the topic of the first episode. Check that out. Camp Haddonfield Podcast, available now, and it'll be available each and every Friday. Also, guys, as we said earlier, we have a website available. We would appreciate your support over there. Go subscribe for updates. Check it out. www.FandomEmpire.net. Big thanks to Slade on the logo work. Huge thanks to the wife and Tommy on helping get that thing off the ground. Lots of people here at Fandom Empire helping out. Again, if you're interested in becoming a moderator on these YouTube live streams, hit us up on Instagram, FandomEmpireNow, or on Twitter at FandomEmpireNow, and we'll get back to you. Also, guys, check us out on Instagram, FandomEmpireNow, or the Camp Haddonfield Podcast. we're really building those things up over there, and hopefully you guys appreciate it. Again, Fandom Empire Now and Camp Haddonfield Podcast. Check us out on Twitter. Twitter is something we're really trying to gain some traction on right now, mainly because I've never been really good at using it. So at Fandom Empire Now is the primary place you can check us out over there. And on Facebook, you can check us out at Fandom Empire, or Halloween Kills 2020 is another place you can check us out on Facebook, guys. And last but not least, big thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Couldn't be here without you. Everything you do goes back into the channel. Joey, Toronto Freddy, Joseph, Nick, James, Matt, Brianna, Kenny, Brian, Reno, Aaron, Jim, Chad, Greg, Matt, and Marcus. We thank you guys for all your support. Again, anything that you guys put into the Patreon goes right back into the channel, guys. And we would definitely appreciate the support over there. As little as $2 a month, or as much as $10 a month. You guys decide. And to the two or three people I don't have up here that are supposed to be on the list, apologies. I'll definitely have you up there next time. Again, we tried to keep this to an hour. It's an hour and a half. All right, guys. That does it for us. We'll have a video sometime this weekend, probably Sunday, maybe even tomorrow, on some more Halloween stuff. And then look out for that Halloween 6 editorial next week. Also, people, that guy, right there, guy over my shoulder, Mikey Myers, the boogeyman, is in fact coming. Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks for the support. Stay safe. Ciao.